Can we get started talking about you two's bougie ass shops that y'all are building?
Yeah.
So we can let's get through this part.
Mine's fairly redneck, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I would like to start out for everyone that's listened or our listeners that the last few weeks it was all technical difficulties. We actually tried to actually record and then it effed up. So, now that I have my internet and mic, it was all JP. Now that JP got it all fixed, we're all good to go.
Fake news. Hashtag fake news.
Fake news. That's not a thing anymore, man. That's not a thing anymore. Anyway, how's your shop coming, Brandon? I saw you were framing out today.
Yeah, that's what I did all day. So I went to, I'm so irritated with Home Depot and their employees, or lack thereof, I should say. So I went there yesterday because I looked on the website and I was like, let's see how bad they're going to rate me on the price on 2x4s now. And I went there and it was $277 a piece. And I was like, oh, we're back to normal. This is amazing.
Awesome.
I'm going to get them right now.
That's better than here right now.
Yeah, it's better than here too. That's awesome.
It was just the whitewood stud, the
the
cheapest ones. But they're all heat tray, kiln dried, whatever. So I don't care. And they don't pitch all over them. So sign me up for that. And anyway, I went there to get them yesterday. I needed 60 of them. Of course, there's not 60 of them on the floor, and the ones that are there have been picked through all day. So there's like 20, and there was another guy waiting for them too. So I told the lady that I see there all the time. She always says hi to me because I'm in there constantly. And I was like, can you get the guys to take down the next unit? And she's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So she goes and tells them. And me and the guy are standing there. We're just talking for like probably a good 10 to 15 minutes. Just sitting there. I'm like, good Lord. And then I already know that it's going to take them forever to get the unit down because they got to gate off both sides and get everybody out of the aisles. And then they just started driving the forklift yesterday, so they don't know what they're doing. And it just took forever. And so I was like, I'm going to go walk around, look at some other stuff. I went and looked at insulation to try to get a plan in place to do that and all that junk. And I was there for like 40 minutes. And I come back and the guy's still standing there. There's nobody to be found. And I went outside and they're just out there dicking around with like concrete blocks and stuff. I'm like, are you guys going to come do this? Oh, yeah, we'll be there in about 20, 30 minutes. I was like, I'm going home. Like, I'll be back tomorrow. It's ridiculous. I would have had to wait an hour and a half to get 2x4s. So anyway, I went this morning and got them. 60 of them, piled them up, started framing it out.
How much would it cost to have them delivered to your house?
I kind of thought about that, but I was like, I don't know if they would even deliver. I think that you have to buy like a unit for them to deliver it.
Whole pallet.
Yeah, and I was thinking that, and me and that guy were standing there talking. I was like, I almost thought about just ordering a unit of them. And I was like, I don't even know how many are in there. And I looked up and it said on the sheet there was like 294. I was like, I don't need that many.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
I mean, I'll get them. They'll get used. That's a little much. They would get used eventually because I do want to rebuild the other the other like one car storage area where I keep in my inventory for my resale stuff because it leaks real bad. So I got to get that done before the winter as well. Pretty ambitious over here.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you don't have a day job anymore. You can get stuff like that done.
Yeah,
I guess.
I did see you had your electrical panel up. Do you have electricity? Everything's all freaking hooked up, at least to the sub panel?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, it's not hooked up. I just got the sub panel mounted, all the conduits ran and everything. But
so you just gotta feed the wire through and stuff.
Yeah, the guy that did all the electric at my old job is gonna come help me out and help me pull all the wire through and get it all hooked up. Like I can do it, but he knows a lot better, obviously, because he does mostly commercial stuff. So he's going to come over and help me get it all hooked up, and then I'll run everything inside. And that was another reason for doing the framed out walls. So I'm going to do the 2x4s so it's furred out away from the metal studs so I can notch them out and run just that metal, like, curly conduit that has the wire in it already. Seen that? I don't remember what it's called. John told me, but I forgot. But apparently you can just run that behind the plywood or whatever your wall is instead of Romex because it's metal studs and all that stuff. So it's safer to run this stuff. Or you could just do regular conduit.
Romex? Why?
Because the Romex could get pinched in between like the metal studs or siding or, whatever. I seen a YouTube.
Do you not have hat channels or anything?
No.
So like I have hat channels that the the sheeting actually screws to. So not only do I have 3.5 inches, I have 3.5 inches plus like another 2 inches. So I have a ton of space to run stuff. So I was thinking just doing Romex because I have 2-inch, like I think it's close to 2 inches behind the metal studs that I can just run everything
the stud
else.
and the siding.
Yeah, because that's how this is set up. It's basically they call them hat channels or purlins. It depends
is it
on
like this. It looks like a C channel kind of thing.
It's kind of it goes out like this, and then it's kind of at an angle, and then comes out again. And so it's
in the siding itself.
No, so that's what the siding attaches to. So there's a ton of space for me when I do my insulation, which we haven't even talked on here. But I've I finished my shop besides the garage door. So now I'm on to the pretty much the same spot you are when it comes to electrical and stuff. I got to run it from the main panel over, which I got to go through like the attic of my tri-level, which is going to be a pain in the butt, and then run it to my garage and then come out. Well, you already dug it out though, so you're already done.
Mine's done.
Yeah,
I
so at this
450 foot of trench with a trencher, and then I hired a kid to come shovel it out because a lot of it fell back in because it's super.
You hired a kid? What, just like a neighbor kid?
I said kid. I feel old. He was like 20. 20. He works for my buddy's plumbing company. I looked around for people. I actually called the guy that did my slab, and I was like, do you have any guys that would come out and clear this trench for me? Because I did it for like 4 or 5 hours, got about 20 feet, and I was like, I'm dying because I was already had done all the trenching, and dude, I was worn out. And it was like 100 degrees. I'm like, screw this. And so I trenched him.
Can I ask you something? Because I trenched a ton of stuff because of the sprinkler. I did pretty close. I think I did 300 feet because of just
how deep did you have to go there?
So I didn't have to go as deep as you because it was sprinklers. I'm talking about sprinklers, so it wasn't quite as deep as yours. Because I assume you have to go like what, 20 inches or something? Or no?
18
with electrical?
is code, 18, I guess.
Okay. So I don't have.
That's only for here. I guess if you're like where you are to do like full water lines, you have to go like 3 feet or whatever, something crazy. No, that's what I read.
For water lines, no, but for electrical, you have to do super deep. So that's why I wanted to avoid going underground with electrical at all costs. But for my sprinkler, I was doing the same thing. First time I ever run a trencher, and I was running it, and I'd go through and dig it up, whatever. And I was like,
forward or backward?
Well, those things. So when you go forward, it digs better.
No, the guy told me to go backward when I rented it. So
right. So well,
otherwise I would have went forward.
It digs better when you go forward. So for me, it was like I was digging, and it was digging great, and plus my soil's really good, so it wasn't rocky. I think yours was like a lot of rocks,
like a volcanic park. It's ridiculous.
So mine's good soil. Stupid. So I was going forward, it was digging fine, but then I looked behind me, and the trench that I just dug was completely filled in with all the dirt, and I was like, this is crap. And so like I did the first one, and I was started shoveling it out, and I was like, this is horrible. And then I put it in reverse. No, I kept it the same direction, but then reversed the wheels or the tracks, so it'd go backwards, and then it just started throwing all the dirt out, and I was like, oh, this is easy. Then I didn't have to do it. That's what I was going to ask you. Why would you have to pay somebody to do it?
Because it all still fell back in.
Even after you went in reverse?
Yeah.
Oh.
I went reverse the whole time. I never went forward.
Oh, if I went forward and then reverse, so I basically double tracked everything.
Went back in was because there's so many rocks. I mean, I'm trying not to cuss on the main show. There's no way you're digging more than 1 inch away from one rock before you hit another one, and I'm not exaggerating. Really? I'll send Sam some pictures so he can put it up over the YouTube video and people can see.
Yeah.
I swear to God, there's thousands of rocks that I shoveled back in. I was like, covering it up will be easy. It took me and my mom helped me 2 days to shovel.
You put your mom to work on a shovel?
You made your mom do it?
My mom works
She's
harder
an
than
angel. How dare you?
I know. I'm like, can you
cannot
go
treat
inside?
the fans of this show like that,
I
Brandon.
know.
She's our most loyal listener, and you're making her freaking
She's
dig.
our top tier patron, even though we don't have a patron. Yeah, no, she's outside all the time. She waters the whole yard. Like, dude, it's crazy. She's always been like that, though. but she loves being outside. She'd rather be outside.
I can only
inside,
see Brandon's mom in there digging out all the dirt. Brandon sitting back on the patio under his Trojan grid, taking a little sip of sweet tea.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly.
He's in his hammock, and he's like, "Mom, you missed a spot."
No, she's always telling me, "You need to go and get some water or drink or something, or go rest for a while."
Mom,
like, you just
meatloaf now.
Mom, meatloaf.
Oh, how dare you do that to your mom?
Anyway, so it fell back in because you would till and hit a rock on the side of the trench. And so it would dig that rock out of the side and more dirt, and it would all just fall back in. And so it was just a night. It took him 5 hours, and he was busting his ass. Like, he was like the 1% of the new generation that actually wants to work for a living. And he was bigger, way bigger than me. He was stocky. He was like 6'2", probably, big old stocky dude. And he was out there just sweating and busting his ass.
How much you pay him? How much you pay him?
Yeah, okay. I think, what do you think? I'm Cam? I'm not going to be a cheap ass. But
but you won't tell us? Okay. He's like, I'm not a cheap ass anyway. I'm not going to tell you.
For a second. No, he was like, when he came, I was like, I already know he's going to underbid it. I was like, what do you want for it? He's like, oh, like, what? How's $150 sound? I was like, sweet. And then he got it. You could tell as he was working, he was like, okay, this is way different than I thought it was going to be and way more work. So he got done, and I gave him $300. And I was like, dude, this is well worth it.
That's awesome. Good for you, Brandon. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'll be honest with you. I thought you were the person that doesn't tip when you go to restaurants. No. That's how the person. That's what I thought. I was like, he's the guy that's like, you get paid anyway. You're all right.
Absolutely not.
I did have a friend like in the police academy when we were going. We'd go out, and he would be like, hey, we all go out as groups, or at a big table, but all have individual checks. He's like, are you guys all tipping? Okay, cool, I don't have to. And then he'd like put it, no, that's not how it works. I was like, no, you still got a tip for yours. He's like, no, that's fine, they got paid, they were good. Wow. I was like, you're the worst.
That is.
You're the worst. And that's what I assumed you would be like. But I'm proud of you, Brandon.
Well, they enjoyed that $3.
Not like that at all.
That was like, well, the concrete guys, they came over to our house. They were freaking just busting their butt for the entire time. It was like a week straight they were out here. It was the hottest week of the summer. It was like 90. Brandon's going to laugh. But it was like 94, 95 the entire time. And they're just out there pouring sweat. So the first day, we're in Utah, right? So they play it safe. So like the first day they're out there, they're pouring sweat, they're drinking. I always had like a case of water every morning. I'd fill up the whole cooler water, throw in ice, and like I'd go get more ice the next day, make sure that they were good. And then the first day at the end, they were like just super tired and stuff. I was like, you guys drink beer? And they're like, look at me like, yeah. And I was like, cool. Do you want some? They're like, yeah, we want some. They're also all Hispanic guys. So I had them some beers, just some like cheap beer I had, like Miller High Life or something. And they all like drinking. They're like, oh, I haven't had this before. And like you could tell like it was not their favorite. Like they were like, and I was like,
you're like, what? It's the champagne of beers.
I actually like. I was like, it's cheap. It's pretty good. But I was like, so what do you guys like? And like there was only like 2 of them that spoke English. And the one guy, he's like, I was like, what kind do you like? And he's like, Mexican beer? Just like that. And I was like,
Modelo.
All right. That's what I said. I was like, you like Modelo? They're like, oh, we love Modelo. And I was like, perfect. And so like that from there on out for the rest of the week, I made sure that once it hit like close to noon, I would just start pouring into their ice cooler like Modelos. And they were like, oh yeah. But and then the very last day when they were finishing up, I made burgers on my griddle for everybody. Like my wife made like the whole spread of lettuce, tomato. We laid out buns and cheese and all that stuff. And I just made a bunch of burgers so that they could chill and while the cement was setting. But yeah, I like doing the same thing. Like you said, like if they do a good job, I have no problem doing anything extra for the people. It's right. Like you're out there busting your butt. There's a reason I'm paying somebody and I'm not doing it myself.
Right.
Like I have no problem giving extra.
Yeah, I was talking to the guy that did my slab because I went out and gave him the money for the extra slab that they were doing, and he had his guys out there working and stuff. And I told him about the kid, and I was like, I don't have a problem with paying people, more that, it would, if you try to put an hourly wage on it, it'd just be ridiculous. But it's just like, that's not how my brain works. And I don't think that's how your brain should work, at least nowadays.
Right.
Because the generation before us and even us growing up, we were always taught, like, oh, and that's how everybody's measured. Like, oh, I made $25 an hour or $30 an hour, whatever. But it's like, you're never going to have money doing that. Like,
right.
You might make a good living or whatever, but if you want to like make some actual money, you got to quit trading your time for dollars. And I feel like that translates really well into woodworking as well. And a lot of people that have started their businesses that I've talked to that are succeeding have the same outlook on it. And that's what he said too. I was like, he kind of looked at me weird because it's kind of a, a thing that most people don't think about. And I was like, if you're trading time for dollars, you're never going to make any money. He looks at me, he's like, you're a pretty smart guy. And I was like, thanks.
He doesn't know you very well, obviously.
No, just kidding. Tell my friends.
Yeah. Tell my friends. You're like, hold on, look at my phone. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, let me record you saying that. But
That's cool, though.
it's just a thing that I've transformed my thinking into the last like year or two, which obviously made me go full time and doing my own thing. But
yeah. Well, last time we talked, I think the last podcast, I just had the frame up and we hadn't done the siding or anything yet. And we finished all the siding, the roof, the doors. We did everything in the shop except the garage door. So it's not quite a functional shop yet because I can't actually lock it or anything. Like the whole front is open. Yeah. But I'm really happy with it. The roof was probably the hardest thing. There's 3 of us doing it. Sam was on the ground kind of handing us the panels to put up. It's a metal sheeting roof. And it's a lot better than shingles because I did shingles like 2 years ago at my father-in-law's shop. That was the worst. It was like that one was
terrible.
Oh, dude, it was 100 degrees. It was so hot that my shoes were We're gonna talk crap on a company real quick, but I had those indestructible shoes. Have you guys, that company? They sent me a pair of those
3 times. I was like, no,
they've emailed me again. But those shoes, I wore a pair of those shoes up when we were roofing, and they were literally melting to the shingles as we were. I was like, oh my gosh, and you could tell like the bottom of it, which had like grooves to be grippy, whatever, was flat now. Like it had melted down. And I was like, oh, this is the worst. And I had blisters all over my feet. So it wasn't quite that bad. But the metal was super slick. So luckily in the morning before we started, I grabbed some grippy knee pads for me and my father-in-law. And
there's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah. And those helped a ton. Those really did help a ton. But it took us 10 hours straight. We started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we finished. Say
you guys are kicking ass on that thing.
Oh, dude, we started at 8 o'clock in the morning, finished at 6 p.m., and we literally worked nonstop. No lunch, nothing. I got them I think burritos or something in the morning, and then we worked all the way until like freaking dinner time. Did not stop, and it was a lot of work. I mean, it's a big shop. Freaking
to this point, have you kept track of how many hours you have in it?
I know how many days. We will probably have 5-6 days of work, and 2 of those days were half days because the storm was coming, so we kind of went to like 2 o'clock instead of like late. So I mean, it's not that bad for how big the shop is, and doing it ourselves, and you have to figure out the 40-page instruction manual on like what's next, and then you find from the thousands of pieces that are sent to figure out figure it out. Mm-hmm. But man, it's come around good, and the inspector came out the other day, and I mean, I like living in a small town because he literally came out for 10 minutes and just looked around and was like, wow, this is really well built. This is awesome. And I'm like, yeah. Just talk to him. We just literally basically, shoot the shit for like 10 minutes. And he was like, oh, anyway. And the one thing he was worried about,
did you say he kept calling it a shed? Is that right?
Yeah. He kept calling it a shed. And I think the reason was because I think he was kind of giving me like, hey, don't call it a shop because then I'll have to come back and check electrical. But if you call it a shed, I don't have to come back and check your electrical. And I was like, yeah, it's totally a shed. Even though there's futures popping up like right next to the building. Like, I mean, it's obvious. It's so big that it's like, we're going to be doing something with it. But I don't think he really cares. I live in a city of 3,000 people. you know, and with it being a
same
pre
with me too, and the inspector came out.
There's more people than that in my high school, by the way.
Yeah, well, my high school too. So in California, so, but I mean, we're a suburb, right? So I like living here, but I think that kind of helps with all this kind of the more country you go, the less people care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you know, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, so the shop's pretty much done. I get my garage door on Tuesday, which is a lot more expensive than I thought. Here's a crazy thing. So I called 4 or 5 different people, and 4 or 3 out of 5 of them said that it was going to be like a 15 to 18 week wait on a garage door, which is insane because it would be December or October, or I mean, whoa, I'm drunk. December or January. December or January before I even get a garage door. I'm like, I can't do that, man. I got to get a garage door sooner. So I called around, and luckily there's one guy, but it was a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Because my father-in-law got a double wide for like $1,000 installed. Like I'm double wide, you know, like a standard garage door. Yeah. I think they're 16 feet, something like that. Mine
is this a normal garage door that kind of raises up like with a garage door opener? Or?
That's why it was more expensive.
Mine's a normal.
Cheaper.
Yeah, they are cheaper. They are cheaper, but they don't look quite as good.
Well,
especially
if you insulate them at all.
You can insulate them, but only like you can. I got quotes for insulated ones.
Yeah, but they have to be a specific one, I think, to actually insulate.
No, from what I talked to the different people, I got a bunch of different quotes on like different sizes and the whatever. And do you see that dog? This stupid
poor dog. Your dog looks like it's about to fly to California on American Airlines.
Come here, bud. Look at his neck pillow.
This dog has a neck pillow on because Sam neutered him at 4 years old.
I think he's like 5 or 6.
Jesus, he's almost already. He's midlife crisis, and you're cutting his balls off.
Anyway,
that was his crisis. He didn't have a crisis. So
you're right. That is midlife crisis for him.
You're gonna walk out to him trying to hang himself
with his dog leash.
Yeah. He's just pulling on it away from the building, staring at Sam. You did this.
Anyway, the garage doors, you can get insulated ones, but you need like 3 feet overhang above your door to actually like have the casing for it to roll up in because it's so thick. Gotcha, so I only have 2 feet, so there's no way that would work. And 3 feet seems excessive in general, but it also won't look good it'll look okay, but it looks better with it matching my house. Because the garage doors are perpendicular with each other. And we're going to add hardware, you know, that faux hardware, the black stuff. We're going to add those to both the doors so they kind of match and so everything ties in.
We discovered not too long ago that most of the houses in our neighborhood, that hardware is just magnetic. It just magnets to the door.
Really?
Yeah, and
that's cool. Actually,
I went to go grab my neighbor's the other day and just pulled it right off. And I was like, I panicked for a split second. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, that's cool.
Mine's not, but like every other like random house in the neighborhood is just random. All of that hardware is just magnetic.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm actually probably going to buy the magnetic ones now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And then my kids will probably take them off within the first 2 days of me having them on, and then I'll be really pissed. But
if they discover that they're actually magnetic, they're smarter than me.
The building will fall down on you, so don't.
Right.
But that's the opposite. I figured that the roll-up doors would be more expensive than just, traditional garage doors.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot less to it. You just kind of hang it above, and then it pulls down, and then
the other ones have motors, and those don't.
No, this one's not going to have a motor. It's just going to have. Mine's going to be manual because I'm not going to open it that often. Just when lumber and me moving a car in and out, depending if we need to do that. But for the most part, mine's not going to open a ton. Or if it does, it's going to be pretty easy just to throw up by hand and pull it down.
Yeah, so mine's super easy to do.
My stupid one's like mine's got Wi-Fi and an app, and it's on a schedule and closes at a certain time.
Open the garage door.
And you're the kid, but that is true, and it will do that.
Sure.
But it's attached to my house, and I get an alert anytime it opens and closes, and I don't want to leave it open. All my stuff's in there. Right. So you can set it on a schedule.
Wait,
and
which
it automatically
house?
closes.
Because your shop's actually at a different house.
Both houses have it.
Of course they do.
I just want you to know that my Alexa said that I'm not programmed to do that when I said that.
Did you? That's
I forgot
awesome.
that I had one in here.
Oh, hey, speaking of 2 garages, so, my shop's next door, and then my garage is basically empty with the exception of Carter's got a few, my son Carter, who is 9, has a few like hockey practice, and practice net and a few things out there. Yeah. But I did just get word I will be working with a synthetic ice company, and it's finalized. Tomorrow we're gonna do some talks. We gotta make some phone calls, but I'll be my next big project is converting my garage into an ice rink. The entire thing will be a synthetic ice rink with boards going along the wall and everything. It's gonna look exactly like an ice rink.
Here's the real question: Are you gonna have a penalty box?
Awesome.
Yes, I'm 100% gonna build a penalty box.
Yeah, you're gonna build one out. That's legit. You gotta get a big old logo from your penalty box Woodshop, put it right above it. That's awesome. That's so cool, dude. So
you gotta get the logo in the middle of the ice.
Oh, that'd be fancy.
You gotta skate on it, and this stuff like being synthetic ice, like you gotta vacuum it every now and then and stuff.
You vacuum it with just a normal vacuum?
That's what they said. They said every now and then, if you skate on it a ton, you take a vacuum, you vacuum it because it'll shred up some of the stuff. But it's reversible. So after you wear it down for years and years, you can just take it, flip it all over, and then you have fresh.
Is it like
on the other side
locking?
Yes, it's like dovetail locking.
That's crazy.
And you use a rubber hammer. And
so you're never gonna park in your garage ever again?
No. I don't park in the garage. My wife does.
Yeah. So how's your wife feel about this? Is the key question. Your wife's all like, "I freaking hate you so much."
Basically, she's like, really? The last house you took, last house it was a wood shop. Now this house is an ice rink.
You're such a jerk.
That conversation
You're
go?
such a jerk.
Wife, you're like, hear me out. I think maybe.
See, this is the thing though, is she loves that's her baby. She loves my son more than anything else in this world, including me. I'm pretty sure.
Hope your daughter doesn't listen to this. Continue.
Hey, that's her baby. My wife don't even listen to this, more or less my daughter. But as soon as I said it was for him, she was on board. But it should be cool, man. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm gonna clear everything out, lay down all the synthetic ice, put down the boards and stuff. And then I'm going to paint all the walls and just put up a bunch of sports memorabilia and probably stickers all across the walls with all the NHL teams. And then I have like a little cutout area on the side. And I'm trying to think, I don't know what I'm going to do with that area, but I'll probably put down like cattle mats on that area. You know what I mean? Like they use in gyms.
Or stands.
Like rubber, like thick rubber. Yeah, I got you.
Right. And I'm either going to throw like some workout stuff down there for them. I have my own gym, or I'm thought about putting like a pub table down there with TV cool. And stuff,
so you can watch
hang
them.
out.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you can hang out in there too.
You could put a couple lockers down there so your son can throw his crap into it while he works out and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's going to be a giant project. No.
I wonder how. I mean, I wouldn't know what it's like to skate on real ice either, but. Seems weird.
They said everything is exactly the same with the exception of you don't just like stand on this stuff and glide like ice. There is some friction involved, but once you get moving, it's very similar.
Do you have to like wax your skates or anything weird like that?
Not that I'm aware of. I am gonna go buy them I'm gonna go to Play It Against Sports and buy him some like pair of $25 skates just to skate down there with, so he's not messing up his blades.
Right.
That he's on regular ice on. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
I'm pretty excited. That's a big project, and I think it goes really well with Penalty Box Woodshop.
Right.
And I'll put it on my YouTube channel and do a couple series on converting that into a practice rink, and hopefully it'll do well. But I think it'll just be fun, and like I said, I think it just plays well into the Penalty Box thing.
Speaking of your YouTube, I watched your video yesterday. I was impressed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Which one?
With the saw, not you. No, I'm just kidding.
Did he come out? Did you come out with a new YouTube video?
Yeah,
I did.
He reviewed the Harvey table saw with the gold top.
Nice. That's cool. It's gold.
I really like the idea of that being coated.
Dude, it is
like
awesome.
The only ones that do that, or what?
I've never seen a single other saw like that. But it's like it's a PVD coated. It's TIN is what it is, the acronym, but I can't remember exactly what that stands for. So it is a cast iron top, and then it's coated with this coating that makes it look gold on the top. But dude, I'm telling you, like I've set drinks on it just to test it out and see. I've set drinks on it. I've leaned on it, all kinds of stuff. I'm not seeing any rust on it at all. Awesome. Now I haven't went overboard of doing that. I haven't like set a drink on it and let it go overnight or anything. But unlike old cast iron, which, you know, I'm pretty tough on my saws. Like I said before, you can see my forearms. Yeah, I mean, you can see my forearms. I used to rest on mine all the time.
Literally, like if I sprayed water off of something, like I cleaned one of my car parts or whatever, and I sprayed the water off of it, and it like misted onto my table saw. And by the time I was done with whatever I was doing, like 20 minutes later, there was already rust spots.
Well, you know where it got my old table saw is when it would rain outside, the garage door would get wet on the outside, and I'd lift the garage door up, and it had just slight overhang above my table saw, and I would get drips every now and then.
I had that happen too.
I've had that before. It hits my joiner. It's annoying because you have to freaking clean it and stuff. That's interesting that it because you're back east, so you get a lot of humidity, right?
Yes.
So your other table saw, was it hard to keep not rusty?
Yes, I had to wax it quite a bit, and you know, like I said, even just my forearms, where I would just lean down on it with my phone and trying to do research or do whatever when I'm in there videoing and stuff. I would have
on TikTok.
Like literally, I would have rust marks where my forearms were just from my sweat, with all the humidity and stuff. So yeah, it's I gotta wax my stuff quite a bit, especially around this time of year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you done anything else in the shop, or just reviewed the table saw?
No, I just finished up another YouTube video, and I'm gonna have it scheduled to come out in 10 more days. And I've got half of another one already done to come out after that. I'm just waiting on some parts and stuff to come in, building a desktop for the office. And I'm doing that desktop a little different than what we in the woodworking community normally do. Instead of making a solid hardwood tabletop, I'm actually going to do one with a laminate top, almost kind of like people sometimes do for their workbenches.
You're going to make a synthetic ice? Or
No, but that'd be cool.
You desk.
We'll see how much I have left over. So I'm going to do a laminate desktop for my new standing desk for the office.
Okay, I gotta ask you something about synthetic ice. So is it something you pour? So you like lay it flat and then you pour it over and it hardens, or is it just like sheets that connect?
It's just sheets that connect, 4x8 sheets that have like dovetail connections. Yep. And then you're good to go. And you can buy it in two different ways.
I don't even care about hockey or ice skating, but I'm
really
like,
interested in
working?
Well,
that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping so many people will be interested in it. A lot of people will watch it.
You said this not too long ago, and then I sent you videos of my son. He just started. We just sent him to a practice. It was like a free practice to see if they'd like it, and it was you can show up. It's for the junior Aggies. Well, so I went to Utah State University, and they're the Aggies. So this is like the junior Aggies, right? And there's whatever. And so we went there, and he got all this stuff on, and he went through, and he was killing it. I was so pumped. Like, he was super into it, and he worked with the coach like one-on-one for like 20 minutes while like all the other kids were like struggling just to like skate around on the little thingies that like hold you up.
I was about
to
say,
like going. I was like,
everybody else is struggling. That kid's over there taking one-timers from the coach.
yeah, and he was doing good, and we're like pumped about it, and he's pretty excited. He was kind of upset at first. He went around by himself for a while, and then he just like comes up, he's like, "Dad, this helmet hurts my head." And I was like, "Okay, bud." So I take it off, and there's just hard red marks all the way around. I'm like, okay, all right, let's go get. I was like, let's go get another one, and all they had was large, and it went from small to large, and I was like, oh no. And luckily I found a medium, but it was still super big on him. But as soon as I put the medium on it and I tightened up as much as I could, I'm like, but it's big, but you're just going to deal with it. He was like, it's okay. He went out there and he was loving it. So we signed him up. So now he'll go through all the way through winter playing hockey. We're pumped. Awesome. Like he'll get a little jersey with his name on it and stuff. But that's why I like the synthetic thing. So we got home. My wife's pumped because she loves sports. And she's really into sports, and seeing our kids in sports makes her all happy. And I was like, babe, forget the shop. Let's make a full ice rink. It's almost to that size anyways. The shop will take that out, just a full ice rink. And anyway,
so this company that I'm working for, if you go on their Instagram page, I can send it to Sam. He can throw it up. They have like you guys shops, like full facilities full of this synthetic ice instead of having regular ice.
So
that's really cool.
When you said it at first of all, we thought you were kidding. Second of all,
I really did. I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
JP's drunk. I'm gonna ask him tomorrow. But second of all, I thought you said synthetic ice. I'm thinking like when there's not enough snow on the slopes and they make snow.
Blow it.
So I'm thinking you're like making fake ice. And like you're gonna have to like put drains in or something, but it's actually like a plastic or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a plastic.
So that's why I was like, had such a surprised look on my face when you were telling me it snaps together. I'm like, wait, what is happening?
So can you just pick it up and put it away if you want? Like you can just stack it up in like 2x4s and just stack them against the wall.
So they sell this stuff in 4x4 sheets, 4x8 sheets, 2x2 sheets. Like you can get it in different sizes, so that you can put it in, like on your back porch or pick it up and, take it inside and, do whatever with it. There's videos of kids, like their dads will take, 10 sheets of it out to a parking lot and stack them together where they can skate, like they'll do end to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they have like a road of ice they can skate.
So you can just practice going straight. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's really cool. I'm excited for you.
Your kid's going to be like, can we take the ice rink to the park when we go? Or?
Yeah. JP's son's going to be the next, oh my God. His name just... Wayne Gretzky.
That's the only one you know.
That's the only one I know. There's not one other. Let's be honest here. There's not one other famous hockey player that anybody knows.
I should have told you a name from the Mighty Ducks. Or
well, the reason
Goldberg. Goldberg. It was Goldberg.
The next Emilio Estevez.
Yeah. Let's be honest here. He's the only famous person that anybody cares about from hockey. But whatever.
Not true at all. But
no,
we'll
I'll
just
probably.
Go with it.
No, I'm gonna get into it. My wife was like, we can start watching hockey games. Like she's like way into it. She's we're gonna be like all the family's gonna be there for every game. I'm like, babe, he's 5, but okay. And she's like, every game, and we're gonna be there. And I'm pretty pumped. It'll be fun.
It's such a fun sport, and it's such a fun sport to watch the kids play. I love it. I love taking them to the ice, and we spend a lot of time there. Like next month, I think that we're on the ice over 20 days of next month. So
that's
it's just
unhealthy.
It seems excessive.
It seems like it. They love it. I mean, he loves it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Wait. So what's your daughter doing? So your husband, your son does this. Can you give me another one? Thanks. Your son does this. What does your daughter do? Because your daughter's actually older, right?
She is. She's 12, just turned 12. She cheers for the middle school football team and basketball. Cool. She does dance, a little bit of dance. She's in gymnastics and tumbling, and she sings. So she's talented in her own part. So
that's awesome. So you guys are busy.
Try to. Oh yeah, dude. We're dividing and conquering for sure, and we're trying to now that Carter's a little bit older and he can get himself dressed in hockey, because there's a lot of stuff to do for hockey,
Right.
But he's at that age now, he can get himself dressed and pretty much get head to toe done. My wife and I are trying to switch it up a little bit, and me go with my daughter and her go with him, so we get to see, one do the other thing, because, go one with a year, and I didn't even get to see my daughter do anything because she was taking her and I was going with him, and, just, trying to get life done when it's busy.
Is he still wearing suits to games?
Yes. Well, he grew out of it.
That's fantastic.
He grew out of it. He wore a suit all season last year, and then this year, he's gotten older, so now he's on a team. They all wear the same team stuff now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. And his suit doesn't fit him anymore.
That's a little disappointing, because that's one of the coolest photos I've ever seen.
He loved the suit, and he loves it. But the kid, he's 9. It's crazy. Everything fit. Right. And then one week, and then we go out the next week, and I'm like, nothing is fitting. His helmet doesn't fit. His skates don't fit. His shin guards are too short. I'm like, did you grow in the last 7 days? I don't understand. So then you got to go completely outfit him again. So he can't wear the suit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. And of course, with Penalty Box Woodshop, I have a long history with hockey, so we love hockey. My great uncle played for the Blackhawks, inducted in the Hall of Fame, and all that good stuff. So long history of it, and our family is very happy that he's playing it, so we get to go see him.
That's really cool.
And they sell beer at the ice rinks.
Ooh, they don't sell it here. They don't sell it here at all.
They don't,
I'm a little jealous. Yeah.
You just bring it in.
Yeah, I have to sneak it in. Bring a flask. My wife looks at me like, "Are you really doing that?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
You got to get the coolers that are backpacks. Those are the best.
Oh yeah,
and then you pour beer into you get them the Yeti cups and pour them beer in there. Yeah.
So like, why do you have a hiking backpack on? I'm just drinking beer through the. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Jesse, it's an hour. You didn't need a case and a half of beer.
I was like, I didn't want to get up. I was like, I don't want to miss anything, and I'm just sitting there sipping IPAs. Anyway.
But yeah, a lot of fun, and I'm really, really excited about that project. I think it'll be great.
No, that's really cool. I'm excited to see.
Needless to say, I'm back in the shop, and it's good. So we're got a normal schedule going back again, and
I'm gonna ask you guys something about Instagram because we haven't talked about social media a long time either way. But
what's that?
Yeah, right. So Instagram, dude, Instagram's been horrible for me. Like I'll post something and 100 people see it.
I got news
no
for you.
lie.
It's not just you.
Dude, it's
everybody.
It hurts. Like you post, I'm like, oh, 100 people saw this?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad I have 120,000 followers.
I just post and then like whatever. I
know, and it's kind of sad. I've gotten to the point where we're just focusing on YouTube, which we have 2 videos in the queue. We just got to do finishing touches, and then we're moving on. And we're just doing the shop build. That's all we're worried about. And then we're kind of strategizing on other stuff. So that's kind of all we're going to. The Instagram's kind of been useless, and I think certain people I still see are being extremely successful, and their engagement's crazy, but it's kind of far and in between. You know what I mean?
Yep. I don't understand it. It has been a complete downhill for me as well. But I will say this, when it started to become a downhill, I didn't fight it. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm out. Right. I'm making, YouTube videos now, and I'm having a lot more fun doing that. It's a lot less stringent. I don't have to post every single day.
Right.
Every 2 weeks. And even
been less stressful.
I took a month off, and my channel did great during that month. Like it didn't
YouTube,
if you do that,
you're saying.
In YouTube, yes.
Yeah.
But if you do that in Instagram, you're bombing. You're losing 10 grand in followers.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
So I'm definitely just hanging out over in YouTube, and I'm seriously considering putting more into YouTube as far as like doing the stories and doing the shorts and stuff instead of even, I'll throw a picture up every now and then for Instagram, but I'm thinking about just putting all the energy over YouTube.
Yeah.
For a while.
Well, I've gotten to the point where I'm not even pursuing new sponsorships off of Instagram at all. Like I'll be like, this is what I have. But even I'll be honest, be like, dude, Instagram sucks lately.
Right.
So I get nothing off there. So like, just so you know, I'll post something if you want it on Instagram, but it's gonna get nothing. And it's
especially
just like
if you tag them as a partner.
Right. And I've never done that. Like I did that the first 2 times, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore.
This sponsor that I work with recently made me. Like they were like, you have to. And I'm like, you don't want that. Trust me. And they're like, no, we have to. It's part of our rules. I'm like, all right. And it literally got like 1,000 views or whatever. And it was a reel.
It's terrible.
Well, even Reels, like, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for a while, that was what I was banking on, was Reels and IGTV. They were still doing good, and they've got to a point where IGTV does nothing, Reels do nothing, and it's like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like I was even going to like the crappy trending songs that I absolutely hate for Reels, and it was still sucking. It was like, well, all right, at this point, I'm just gonna not worry about Instagram whatsoever.
Yeah. I wonder if there's just so many people on it now that it's like,
they're changing algorithms.
The crazy views that they used to.
TikTok's the same way too.
Oh,
like
I've
quit TikTok. Yeah.
Me too. I quit that a long time ago. I got to it was useless. It hit a wall as soon as it got sold.
Yep.
It was like I was killing it, and then as soon as it got sold, it just depleted. Where it was 500 views. Like, how does that even make sense? I got 90,000 followers on there. How does that even make sense? 500 views?
It really sucks for people that are like getting into social media now. They're like, I still get messages from like new people, you know, and they're like, "How did you grow your Instagram?" I'm like, "Well, you ain't doing it nowadays." I tell you that.
I used to say it was hard work and being constantly on there and like doing. It's like that doesn't work anymore.
No,
I don't know.
It's impossible.
You're like, you're like, I don't know, shake your butt or something. That's pretty much all that Instagram does anymore.
If you turn into a girl Instagram model, you may have a chance. Otherwise,
Right. So I'm in the same boat.
It is crazy.
YouTube is where I'm going to start focusing from now on. First of all, it makes the money.
Like way slow for not just me, but apparently not for JP, but everybody but JP. I mean, even like the big guys, like just like Brad, for instance. I was looking at his channel the other day, and like he had a video up. He's got over 1 million subs. And they had the video up for like a week, and it was like a home renovation style video, which usually do really well. And it only had like 51,000 views, and usually he gets like 1 million or hundreds of thousands at the least. And I'm like, what is happening? And everybody I talk to is like, everybody's views are down.
Yeah, my views suck video to video, but then I know there's a few, like when I post them, like this video is gonna do good, like the trailer video or the pergola video or the the theater video. Those overview videos, I'm like, those are gonna be pretty good, and they all do pretty decent for my channel. So I'm banking on capitalizing on more of those big projects where they're more of the overview inspiration videos that are like 10 to 15 minutes that don't go to terribly detailed stuff. It seems like that's what most people like.
I was about to say, I'm dialing it back on YouTube too. I'm not going into the hardcore woodworking stuff like dovetails and stuff like that. I did it a little bit and I enjoy doing them. I'm not saying I'm never going to do it, but I'm going to try to stick with basic stuff because I think that there's more people on YouTube searching our field that are just getting into it rather than people who have been in it for a long time looking to take another step. You know, there are some people out there and I think there's a place for it and I want a place in my channel for it, but I'm going to mainly focus on the newcomers, the people that are just getting into it.
Right.
And the remodeling, the DIY or the, you know, whatever else. I think that is the market for YouTube in our field right now.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing I really want to focus on, I have been on the last few videos, is like, I don't want to be the channel that people search for something for because there's no way to build a community that way. And I've realized that over time because my videos that do really well are because people are searching for that thing, but they don't stay. They just come watch that video and then they leave, or they watch some of that video and they leave. So recently I've been at the views suck, but I don't care because I want them to be quality views and I want people to come to my channel to watch me, not the project, if that makes sense. So I'm doing a lot more like vlog style intros and outros and stuff, and like even throughout the process, just like you did on that table saw thing, I noticed you were in that a lot more, like talking straight to the camera rather than voiceover.
Right.
I think that's the way to go if you're going to try to build a channel that's going to grow over time.
Right. Yeah, so let them know you personally, not just the project, right?
Right.
So I know it's kind of a long play, right? Because if you're just going off of ad revenue, doing these short videos that are searchable are probably the way to go, right? Don't you think, or not really?
I don't know, because I don't think so. I don't think it's good to do that for anything, because all the big YouTubers that, for example, like I don't even watch woodworking YouTube's videos, and I know you guys probably don't either. But I watch a lot of fishing, like bass fishing and stuff, mostly because I've over the years have grown to like the guys that are running these channels, and so they have huge channels, like, and they're not even like, they're not a crazy amount of subscriber count, but their views are just way up, right below their subscriber count, because they built such a dedicated audience. And I think that's really what we should focus on as well.
And that's the thing with YouTube, is that unlike Instagram Instagram's kind of went that way as well, is it doesn't really matter if they subscribe or not, honestly, because there isn't a really good feed for subscribers to keep track of the people they're subscribed to. I don't think.
No.
Unless you have the bell button and it pops up, have your alerts on your phone and everything else.
Right, but
which
even
have to be a pretty dedicated.
And watches a video.
Right, I would say they have to be a pretty dedicated watch, a follower to do that. So
and
they have to have a reason. They have to like you. They have to have a reason to come back. They have to have a reason to want your next video to come out. And it's usually because it's not the next project, but because they like your personality. They think the stuff you're doing is cool, and they're getting some knowledge out of it.
Right. Yeah, I listen to some YouTube podcasts, like YouTube Creators Hub and video creators, and they say, like, YouTube themselves has even said recently that they don't care about subscriber count because every video is standing on its own. So
right.
They're not like, oh, this person has 100,000 subs, so we're gonna feed their video more than this other video that is the same. It's going to go off of how people react to it initially.
The only way that can help you is when you get an incredible amount of subscribers, that a lot of those people have that bell button and stuff hit, that you can get that initial push on that video, which helps with the algorithm and stuff. Right. Exactly.
But that just goes back
that's
to
where you get your help. That's where you're like
audience.
that's where you're Mr. Beast and all them. They get that initial just giant push right out the gate.
Right.
That helps with the algorithm and stuff. Can't say it correctly.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So other than that, it's just people got to like you. And if they don't like you, they ain't going to watch you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to figure out what to do. I think for our YouTube, we're going to do the shop, obviously, be the next project. We already have one video, our audio cut out on 10 seconds of the final clip. So I have to redo that audio and then do an overlay to edit it, which is annoying. So I got to do that probably, tomorrow, I think we talked about.
How do you do that? What are you, like, watching the video, like, trying to hit the hammer at the same time?
No, it was because the first video is me just explaining what happened with the concrete and how we were setting up the shop and prepping for everything. So it's all kind of like a shop video. Gotcha. And then the second video is going to be all the actual video, the actual building of the shop. But the last 10 seconds before we jump into the guys actually, like, us filming the actual concrete part of it, it cut out. And so it was like the part where I'm like, all right, well, the concrete guys are coming here tomorrow. We're about to get this done. They're going to do this much footing, blah, blah. That whole part cut out. And then it comes back in for some reason. And I'm like, all right, man, let's get to it. Or whatever. I don't know what I said. But it's something like that. So I have to re-edit and kind of just do some sort of a voiceover. And Sam has to do his editing magic to get it done. But that's why it should have been out like a week and a half ago.
Way into it so it looks like a Japanese film that's dubbed.
just way off. It's like way too
stuff that's not even close to what your mouth looks like you're saying.
And like the audio sounds like it's off. It's not even close.
Put, like, some Japanese subtitles at the bottom.
Yeah, that'd be. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I gotta finish that. Then Sam has, I think, the second video almost edited, so we're gonna get that up probably a week after, or 2 weeks. I don't know, like a week and a half after. And then after that, I think we're going to start diving into those trailer and van remodels. I think the next one will be like a van camper, like the van life type campers.
Hippie.
I think we're going to do that, which is just, first of all, those videos do good. Second of all, nobody does a good video on those. You look at those videos, I don't know if you guys ever looked at them. They are literally just a GoPro set up as a time lapse. Every single one of them, and they have millions and millions of views. I'm like,
no effort.
F that, dude. Let's do a real video, because that's what
shop videos like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're doing a good shop video, and that's the trailer video. The trailer video, almost there's only one other person. I forget. It's Shasta something. So he had a Shasta trailer, and he did a 10-part episode series. I watched every single episode of that. He was super detailed, really weird and quirky, but they were like great videos when it comes to actual detail to what he did. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I think that's why my video's done so well, because I kind of went off of what he was doing. Those van life videos, they never do very good because they don't actually put effort into like showing what the process was. So I think we're going to do that for a van, and then go from there and maybe do a trailer. And if they do that well, why not capitalize on that? We've already
also, here's the goodness. You could probably redo the van and then sell it for a profit once you're done, and just continue to do that.
Exactly. For us, it's like, we could do a van, and then let's say we buy a bus, and then do a bus, and either buy an Airbnb and start Airbnb, do different properties here and there, which would be drive people to actually do that, or sell them, which is easy as well, because then you can just do it and sell it and make profit that way. And then you still have the video to make money later down the line. So I'm shifting away from focusing on the Instagram and social media part of it when it comes to, because do you guys view YouTube as social media? I don't.
No, it's a search engine.
It's information. Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of shifting away from social media into more of the YouTube stuff where I'm actually I don't know, focusing more on the big picture stuff that I can make money on different apps.
I'm only on Instagram because for one, I have contracts on their sponsors, but for two, I enjoy Instagram itself.
I enjoy it.
I've given up on caring about I used to be like, oh, I don't care, but I really care. But now I really don't care about views or subs.
I'm on Instagram for the stories. I don't even care about the feed. I like to listen. I look at everybody's stories because that's where everybody's personal stuff is on. You know what I mean? It's more about that person, kind of like what we're talking about with YouTube. I'm interested in and enjoy the people that I follow, not just in a photograph or a really good edited reel or something.
Yeah.
I like to see what they're up to on the day-to-day, what they're cooking, hanging out with the family, stuff like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, this stuff Derek's been posting makes me real hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, Derek Wolf with Over the Fire? Yeah, man, it's crazy. He's stepping it up.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, if you haven't listened to that podcast, go check it out. It's awesome. And go check him out. It's really cool.
We need to figure out some more guests to have on the podcast.
Let's do it.
That we can interview some people.
Yeah. You guys listening have any suggestions, send them to us who you'd want to hear on the podcast, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway,
or if you're listening and you're really cool and you want to be on, shoot us a message.
Yeah. Hey, I'm down for that. Yeah, anybody. We'll just talk to anybody because it's just fun to shoot the shit. And I don't care. That's cool with me.
We're going to have Brian on the after hours. I mean,
yeah.
Anybody's really welcome at that point.
That's right. I got Brian on standby over here.
Well, thanks for listening, guys. It was a fun shop talk where we can actually go over some woodworking and other shop stuff. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you share with a friend. That's one of the best things you can do. We do have shirts available if you'd like to, like the Smoke 'em tee and some Go Build Something tees as well. So thanks for listening. Go build something.
Your dog looks like it's about to fly to California on American Airlines.